Europeans have never understood bugs, because to understand bugs, you must understand the world without conquest. Insects live without borders. No flags, no fences, no generals. But Europe couldn't grasp that. They needed hierarchy. They needed empire. So when they looked at a swarm, they saw chaos. When they looked at a hive, they saw tyranny. They couldn't comprehend a society with no throne, but perfect synchronization. Because how can a people who invented divine right kings and colonial chains ever understand collective will? They didn't study bugs. They tried to enslave them. Silkworms turned to luxury threads. Bees reduced to honey quotas. Even ants became military metaphors. Rank and file, foot soldiers, drone class. They took what was fluid and self-organizing and projected their own rigid class structure onto it. Meanwhile, in the global south, insects were calendar and kin. In Mali, the cyclical return of crickets marked the new season. In Cambodia, dragonflies were signs of water quality, living sensors far more accurate than any European theory. In Peru, the chirping of the katydids was used to predict rain. None of this appears in their Enlightenment textbooks. None of this made it into Linnean taxonomies, because they didn't come to listen. They came to name, categorize, and conquer. Their science was always violence in disguise. Even their so-called entomology was rooted in theft. They stole beetles from the Amazon, pinned them in British museums. They plundered butterfly ecosystems in Madagascar and wrote their names on the wings. And still they failed to understand the fundamental truth of insect life, that the smallest beings often hold the deepest intelligence. African termites build self-regulating climate systems, entire civilizations in clay. Dung beetles in Kemet were symbols of the sun's daily rebirth. Not primitive mythology, but ecological observation. Fireflies coordinate their lights, not by command, but by communal rhythm, a mathematical synchronicity still being decoded by modern science. But Europe didn't see the life in it. They only saw specimens. And when bugs resisted classification, they became monstrous. Too many legs, too many eyes, too much difference. A metaphor for every non-European. They also tried to categorize, colonize, and control. To this day, they treat infestations as invasion, but never stop to ask why their monocultures attract plagues. Never ask what pesticides do to soil intelligence. Never ask why indigenous farmers could grow for millennia without collapse, while European Green Revolution fields die after one generation. Because bugs can't be tamed. They respond to balance, not brutality, to harmony, not harvest quotas. Even now, they try to engineer robotic bees because they killed the real ones. They think they can replicate pollination with drone tech, missing that pollination isn't a task, it's a relationship. You can't 3D print reciprocity, and that's what bugs always taught. Coexistence without dominance. But Europe couldn't learn that, because you can't learn from what you refuse to respect. So when we say Europeans never understood bugs, we're not being cute. We mean they never understood systems. They never understood adaptation. They never understood life without conquest. And the bugs, they outlasted them. They'll be here long after the last cathedral crumbles, because bugs don't need borders, or gods, or genocide. Just time, soil, silence, and each other. Cope.